The call to arms, the Galactic Alliance Council chamber fell silent as the holographic display revealed another devastating defeat. The Krell Empire's warships had decimated the Alliance's defensive line at Arcturus, leaving 3 inhabited worlds vulnerable to invasion. High Chancellor Zorax, his 4 arms twitching with agitation, surveyed the grim faces of the representatives from 17 different species. "This marks the 7th major defeat in as many cycles," he announced, his voice resonating through the chamber. "Our forces are stretched beyond capacity. Our technologies are failing against Krell adaptations. We must consider alternatives." Ambassador Thora of the Nilari stepped forward, her luminescent skin pulsing with determination. "There is one species we have not yet approached, Chancellor, one whose inclusion in the Alliance we have repeatedly deferred due to their unpredictable nature." A murmur rippled through the assembly. Everyone knew which species she meant. "The humans," Zorax said flatly. "You suggest we invite Earth to join our conflict?" "I do," Thora replied firmly. "Their application for Alliance membership has been pending for 15 Earth years. They have developed in isolation, achieving faster-than-light travel independently. Their history is marked by conflict, yet also by remarkable innovation and adaptability." "They are primitive," objected Ambassador Krell of the Volturi hegemony. "Their technology is centuries behind ours. What could they possibly contribute to a war against the most advanced military force in the galaxy?" Thora's skin flashed in patterns, indicating certainty. "Sometimes, Chancellor, primitivity has its advantages. The Krell anticipate our maneuvers because they understand our logic. Humans think differently." After 3 days of heated debate, the Council voted. A delegation would be sent to Earth with an offer of full Alliance membership, in exchange for immediate military assistance. Commander Elena Reyes stood at the window of Earth's Orbital Defense Command, watching the alien delegation's ship dock with the station. In her 15 years of military service, she had never expected to witness such a moment. Humanity had discovered they weren't alone in the universe only 20 years ago, and diplomatic relations with the Alliance had been cautious at best. "They're desperate," remarked Admiral Chen, coming to stand beside her. "After years of keeping us at arm's length, suddenly they need us." Elena nodded. "The question is, do we need them?" The meeting was arranged in ODC's conference room, a massive chamber with a view of Earth's curved horizon. Ambassador Thora led the Alliance delegation, accompanied by military strategists from 3 different worlds. President Lee represented Earth, flanked by the Joint Chiefs and a cadre of diplomats. Thora spoke without preamble. "The Krell Empire has broken through our defenses at 7 critical junctures. They are an expansionist regime with a philosophy of galactic domination. If they continue their advance, Earth will eventually fall within their path." The holographic display activated, showing the strategic map of known space. The Krell territory, displayed in blood red, had grown substantially, pushing against the blue regions of Alliance space. "We offer immediate full membership in the Alliance with all associated benefits: technological exchange, trade access, and protection under the Mutual Defense Pact. In return, we ask for your military assistance." Admiral Chen leaned forward. "Ambassador, with all due respect, our ships would be hopelessly outmatched against Krell technology. What exactly do you expect us to contribute?" Thora's skin pulsed with patterns that their translators couldn't quite interpret. "We have observed human military history. You have a unique approach to warfare, an unpredictability that the Krell have never encountered." President Lee's expression remained diplomatic, but Elena could see the skepticism in her eyes. "You want us to join a war we can't win because we're unpredictable?" "Sometimes," Thora replied, "unpredictability is the most powerful weapon of all." The discussions continued late into the night. Data was exchanged, Proposals were made, and arguments both for and against intervention were presented. Elena, initially present only as a strategic advisor, found herself increasingly involved in the conversation. "May I speak freely?" she finally asked, addressing both President Lee and the Alliance delegation. The president nodded. "The Krell expect Alliance tactics because they've been fighting you for decades. They've adapted to your technology, your strategic doctrines, your thought patterns, but they've never faced humans." Elena activated the tactical display, highlighting the area around Proxima Ridge, where the next major Krell offensive was anticipated. "We wouldn't engage them conventionally. That would be suicide. But if we approach this asymmetrically—" The room fell silent as Elena outlined her proposal. It was unconventional, high-risk, and decidedly human in its approach. When she finished, Ambassador Thora's skin had turned a brilliant blue. This is precisely why we need you. The Krell would never anticipate such a strategy. Admiral." Chen looked troubled. "Commander Reyes, the success of this plan hinges on technology we've barely tested." "The quantum displacement system works, Admiral," Elena replied confidently. "The test runs in the Kuiper Belt proved it. We just haven't had a reason to deploy it, until now." President Lee studied Elena's face for a long moment. "You're proposing we commit our most advanced military technology to a conflict we've had no part in, based on a strategy that defies conventional military doctrine." "Yes, Madam President, because if the Krell defeat the Alliance, we'll eventually face them alone." After 2 more days of discussion, Earth's decision was made. Humanity would join the war, on their own terms. 3 weeks later, Commander Elena Reyes stood on the bridge of the EDF Indomitable, Earth's newest and most advanced warship. Though small by Alliance standards, the vessel contained humanity's greatest technological achievement, the quantum displacement system. Alongside the Indomitable sailed 14 other ships, comprising Earth's first expeditionary force. "Admiral," Chen's voice came through on the comm. "Commander Reyes, final authorization has been granted. Operation Thunderbolt is a go. May God help us all." Elena turned to her crew, men and women who had trained together for years without ever expecting to fight an interstellar war. "The Alliance has been fighting this war for decades without success. They've lost worlds, resources, and countless lives. They think we're joining a long, protracted conflict." She allowed herself a small smile. "We're going to end this war in 5 hours. Lieutenant Commander Raj Singh, her tactical officer, raised an eyebrow. 5 hours, Commander? That's optimistic." "It's not optimism, Lieutenant. It's mathematics." Elena activated the holographic display, showing the Proxima Ridge battlefield where the Krell fleet was amassing. The Krell have never encountered the quantum displacement system. They have no defenses against it, and they've never fought humans. The bridge crew exchanged glances, a mixture of anxiety and determination on their faces. The Alliance has been fighting a conventional war against an enemy that keeps adapting to their methods, Elena continued. "We're going to show them, and the Krell, that humans don't fight conventionally." As the Earth fleet prepared to jump to the Proxima Ridge system, Elena received one final transmission from Ambassador Thora. "Commander Reyes, the Alliance forces, are in position. They will engage the Krell as planned to create the diversion you requested. I must confess, many of our military leaders remain skeptical of your strategy." Elena nodded, understanding their doubt. "Ambassador, throughout human history, wars have been won not just by superior firepower, but by innovation, adaptability, and psychological impact. The Krell believe they understand warfare. We're about to show them they don't." "Then I wish you luck, Commander. The Alliance has been fighting this war for 27 years. If you can truly end it in 5 hours, it would be nothing short of miraculous." Elena's expression hardened with determination. "Not a miracle, Ambassador. Just humanity doing what we do best, surprising everyone, including ourselves." With that, she gave the order. The Earth fleet engaged their FTL drives and vanished into the depths of space, heading toward a battle that would redefine interstellar warfare forever. The Alliance had called on humans as a last, desperate measure. They were about to discover exactly what humans were capable of when pushed into a corner. The quantum gambit. The Krell warships hung in space like massive predators, their obsidian hulls absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Numbering over 300 vessels, from nimble strikecraft to planet-killer dreadnoughts, the fleet represented the most formidable military force the galaxy had ever known. At its center loomed the Dominion, flagship of Warlord Drac, Supreme Commander of the Krell forces. On the Dominion's command deck, Drac observed the tactical display with cold satisfaction. Standing over 7 feet tall, his exoskeletal armor integrated directly with his gray-green skin, a living symbol of the Krell philosophy that biology and technology should be one. "The Alliance forces are deploying at the edge of the system," reported his second-in-command, Sub-Commander Vex. "Standard formation. Predictable, as always." Drac's lipless mouth curved slightly. "How many times must we teach them the same lesson? They adapt their technology, but never their thinking." He studied the approaching Alliance ships, a patchwork fleet of vessels from different worlds, reflecting the desperate state of their coalition. "Begin the standard response. Draw them in, divide their formation, then isolate and destroy their command ships." "Yes, Warlord," Vex acknowledged, transmitting the orders. As the Krell fleet began its methodical maneuvers, a sensor officer suddenly straightened. "Warlord, new signatures detected. 15 vessels emerging from FTL at coordinates 227 Mark 089. Drac turned sharply. "Alliance reinforcements? Why weren't they detected sooner?" "Unknown configuration, Warlord. They appear to be... They're not Alliance designs. The energy signatures are unfamiliar." The tactical display updated, showing the new arrivals. The vessels were smaller than most Krell ships, but moved with surprising speed and coordination. "Magnify," Drac ordered. His interest peaked. The screen focused on the lead ship, sleek, with lines that spoke of both function and aesthetics, bearing markings in an unfamiliar script. Vex's posture changed subtly, the Krell equivalent of surprise. "Humans. These are human vessels." Drac's inner eyelids flickered, a sign of amusement. "So the Alliance has grown desperate enough to recruit the primitives. What do our intelligence reports indicate about human military capabilities?" "Limited. Warlord, they achieved FTL travel only 2 decades ago. Their weapons technology is primarily projectile-based, with some directed energy capabilities. No significant threat to Krell warships." Drac studied the human vessels with mild curiosity. An interesting development, but irrelevant to the outcome. Designate a division to intercept and eliminate them. The rest of the fleet will proceed with the primary engagement against the Alliance. "Yes, Warlord." 20 Krell destroyers detached from the main fleet, moving to intercept the human ships. It was an overwhelming response to such a small force. A statement of Krell military doctrine that all threats, however minor, should be crushed with decisive force. Aboard the Indomitable, Commander Elena Reyes watched the Krell response with satisfaction. "They've taken the bait," Lieutenant Commander Singh announced. 20 destroyers breaking formation to intercept us." Elena nodded. "Perfect. Exactly as anticipated. Status of the QDS?" "Quantum Displacement System at full capacity, Commander," reported Chief Engineer Dr. Kwan. "All 5 displacement units are synchronized and ready." "And the Alliance diversion?" Singh checked his display. "Engaging the main Krell fleet as planned. They've committed approximately 80% of their forces to the Alliance front." "Good." Elena opened a channel to the entire Earth fleet. "All ships, this is Commander Reyes. The Krell have responded exactly as predicted. They've designated us as a secondary threat and dispatched what they consider overwhelming force to deal with us. They expect to find primitive humans with conventional Weapons. She allowed herself a small smile. Let's show them how wrong they are. Execute Phase 1. The 15 Earth vessels, previously arranged in a standard approach formation, suddenly scattered in seemingly random directions. To the Krell, it appeared as though the human fleet had panicked at the sight of the approaching destroyers. The Krell are adjusting course to pursue, Singh reported. They're splitting their forces to chase individual targets. As expected, Elena said calmly. They're applying conventional pursuit doctrine. Isolate and eliminate. Begin QDS targeting sequence. On the tactical display, the 20 Krell destroyers spread out, each targeting a specific human vessel or maintaining strategic position. They were executing textbook interception patterns designed to prevent escape and maximize weapons coverage. QDS targeting sequence complete, Dr. Kwan announced. Displacement units are locked on designated coordinates. Elena's expression hardened. Execute Phase 2. On the Dominion, Warlord Drac observed the human vessel's erratic maneuvers with mild contempt. They scatter like prey animals, he remarked. Is this the species the Alliance placed their hopes in? Vex was about to respond when an alarm sounded. The tactical officer stared at his display in confusion. Warlord, I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from the human vessels, some form of particle acceleration beyond our known parameters. Drac leaned forward. Weapon systems? Unclear. The energy pattern doesn't match any known weapons profile. It's creating localized distortions in... The officer's report was cut short as the impossible happened. 5 Krell destroyers simply vanished. One moment they were pursuing human vessels, the next they were gone. Not destroyed. There was no debris, no explosion, no energy discharge, just gone, as if they had never existed. Silence fell over the Dominion's command deck. Report! Drac demanded, his voice cutting through the stunned quiet. 5 destroyers have disappeared, Warlord, the tactical officer replied, his voice strained with disbelief. No distress signals, no weapons discharge detected. Long-range sensors show no trace of them within this system. Before Drac could respond, it happened again. 5 more destroyers vanished simultaneously. What is happening? Drac snarled, his composure cracking for the first time in decades of warfare. Vex studied the readings, his posture rigid with tension. The humans are using some form of translocation technology. They're creating quantum displacement fields around our ships and removing them from this space-time reference. Impossible, Drac hissed. Such technology is theoretical at best. Theoretical? For us, Vex replied quietly. Apparently not for them. As they watched, the remaining Krell destroyers attempted evasive maneuvers, but it made no difference. 5 more vanished, then the final 5, all within the span of 6 minutes. 20 Krell warships gone without firing a single shot. On the Indomitable, the bridge crew erupted in controlled celebration as the final group of Krell destroyers was displaced. All 20 targets successfully removed from the battlefield, Singh confirmed, his voice tight with excitement. Quantum displacement complete. They've been relocated to the designated coordinates in the Oort cloud at the edge of this system. Elena nodded, allowing herself a moment of satisfaction. The quantum displacement system, humanity's most closely guarded technological achievement, had performed perfectly. It didn't destroy enemy ships. It simply moved them elsewhere, depositing them light hours away from the battlefield. Status of QDS generators? She asked. Dr. Kwan consulted his displays. All 5 units operating within parameters. Recharge sequence initiated. We'll have full capacity again in 18 minutes. Excellent. Elena turned to Singh. What's the Krell response? Confusion, Commander. The main fleet has paused their engagement with the Alliance. Several vessels are breaking formation, moving to defensive positions. They don't understand what happened, Elena said. Good. That uncertainty is crucial. Open a channel to Alliance Command. Ambassador Thora's face appeared on the screen, her luminescent skin pulsing with patterns that even the translators struggled to interpret, the Nilari equivalent of astonishment. "Commander Reyes," she said, "what have you done? 20 Krell warships have simply vanished." "They're not destroyed, Ambassador," Elena explained. "They've been relocated approximately 6 light hours from here. The crews are unharmed, but they won't be rejoining this battle." Thora's skin flashed with rapid pulses. "This technology, it defies our understanding of physics. The quantum displacement system creates a localized field that temporarily shifts matter out of normal space-time, then reinserts it at designated coordinates," Elena explained. "It's precise enough to target specific ships without affecting others nearby. Why has Earth never shared this technology with the Alliance?" There was an edge to Thora's voice now. "Because it wasn't ready until recently," Elena replied smoothly, omitting that humanity had deliberately kept this technology secret even after perfecting it. And now it's going to win this war. Have the Alliance forces ready to execute the next phase on my mark." As the communication ended, Lieutenant Rodriguez, the communications officer, looked up from her station. "Commander, we're receiving a transmission from the Krell flagship." Elena raised an eyebrow. "Put it through." The screen shifted to reveal Warlord Drac, his alien features arranged in what passed for Krell composure, though Elena could detect signs of tension in his posture. "Human Commander," Drac began, his voice translated into a deep, resonant English. "You have employed a weapon unknown to us. This departure from conventional warfare is unexpected." "We're just getting started, Warlord," Elena replied. "The quantum displacement system has many applications. What you've witnessed is merely its most basic function." A subtle shift in Drac's posture betrayed his unease. "You address me as if you know me. We know a great deal about you, Warlord Drac. Your military record, your strategic preferences, even your personal history as the architect of the Krell expansion." Elena's voice hardened slightly. "We've studied you, just as we've studied Krell biology, technology, and psychology. To what end?" "To end this war," Elena said simply. "You have exactly 1 hour to withdraw all Krell forces from Alliance space, relinquish all conquered territories, and enter into peace negotiations." Drac's inner eyelids flickered rapidly, a sign of either amusement or agitation. "You eliminate 20 ships and presume to dictate terms to the Krell Empire? Your species' arrogance exceeds even your reputation." "This isn't arrogance, Warlord. It's mathematics. In the time we've been talking, our QDS has recharged. We're now capable of displacing not just ships, but specific components within ships." Elena nodded to Dr. Quan, who executed a precisely calculated command. Throughout the Krell fleet, primary power cores suddenly disappeared from 50 ships, leaving them drifting, operating on emergency systems only. On the Dominion's bridge, alarms blared as reports flooded in. 50 vessels reporting critical power failures," Vex announced, his composure cracking. "Their cores have vanished." Drax stared at the human commander on the screen, his understanding of warfare fundamentally shaken for the first time in his long career. "You now have 55 minutes, Elena said calmly. "I suggest you use them wisely." The communication ended, leaving the Krell warlord facing a type of warfare for which he had no doctrine, no strategy, and no defense. The first 3 hours of humanity's intervention in the Galactic War had rewritten the rules of engagement, and they were just getting started. "Commander Reyes," she began, "the Alliance owes humanity a debt that cannot be easily quantified. You have ended a war that has claimed billions of lives and threatened our very existence." Earth was protecting its own interests as much as the Alliance's, Elena replied diplomatically. "The Krell would eventually have reached our world." "Perhaps," Thora acknowledged. but the manner in which you intervened, it raises questions. Your species withheld the existence of this technology during all our prior diplomatic exchanges. Elena met the ambassador's gaze steadily. Earth developed the quantum displacement system in isolation, Ambassador. Until recently, we weren't certain it would function as intended at military scale. And given the Alliance's reluctance to grant us full membership status, our leadership felt it prudent to maintain certain strategic advantages. Thora's skin pulsed with patterns indicating understanding, if not complete approval. The Alliance Council will have many questions. They will want to understand this technology, perhaps even request access to it. That will be a matter for diplomatic discussion, Elena replied carefully. But I think we all understand that the balance of power in this region of space has shifted significantly today. As Thora departed, Lieutenant Commander Singh approached Elena. The Krell withdrawal is proceeding according to schedule, Commander. Alliance forces are moving to reclaim key positions in the formerly contested systems. Elena nodded. And Warlord Drac? His flagship remains in the system, awaiting the formal surrender negotiations. Intelligence reports suggest he's facing significant scrutiny from the Imperial Conclave for agreeing to our terms. Understandable, Elena said. He's the first Krell military leader in centuries to surrender. Singh hesitated, then asked the question that many were thinking. Commander, the QDS. We could have used it to end this conflict even more decisively. We could have displaced the entire Krell leadership or targeted critical systems on their home world. We could have, Elena agreed, her expression solemn, and that's precisely why we didn't. Humanity is new to the galactic stage, Singh. The way we conduct ourselves now will define how we're perceived for generations to come. She looked out at the stars, at the vast expanse that had suddenly become much smaller for humanity. We demonstrated enough power to end this war. Anything more would have been excess, and potentially created resentments and fears that might lead to future conflicts. 3 days later, representatives from Earth, the Alliance, and the Krell Empire gathered on a neutral station in the Proxima system. The formal peace negotiations would take months to complete, but the initial accords established the framework for a lasting resolution. President Lee, who had traveled from Earth for the occasion, addressed the assembly. Today marks a new chapter in galactic history, not just the end of a devastating war, but the beginning of a cooperative future. Earth is proud to finally take its place as a full member of the Galactic Alliance, bringing our unique perspective and capabilities to the collective effort of building a more secure and prosperous galaxy. Warlord Drac, now serving as the Krell, diplomat as well as military leader, spoke with a dignity that surprised many. The Krell Empire acknowledges the changing nature of power in our galaxy. We enter these negotiations not as the conquered, but as those who recognize that adaptation is necessary for survival. The humans have taught us a valuable lesson in the evolution of warfare, one that we will not forget. As the formal proceedings continued, Elena found herself standing beside Admiral Chen, watching the diplomats do their work. 5 hours, Chen mused. You actually did it. Elena smiled slightly. It wasn't just the technology, Admiral. It was understanding our adversary, knowing that the psychological impact would be as significant as the tactical advantage. Chen nodded. That's what the Alliance never grasped in 27 years of fighting. They tried to match Krell firepower with firepower, technology with technology. You changed the paradigm entirely. That's what humans do, Elena replied simply. Throughout our history, we've overcome superior forces not by matching their strength, but by changing the nature of the conflict. As the peace conference proceeded, news of humanity's decisive intervention spread throughout the galaxy. Many worlds that had remained neutral in the conflict now sent delegations to Earth, seeking diplomatic relations and technological exchange. The quantum displacement system had transformed humanity from a peripheral player to a central power in galactic politics. 6 months later, Commander, now Admiral, Elena Reyes stood on the observation deck of Earth's new embassy on the Alliance capital world. The diplomatic compound was a testament to humanity's elevated status, a blend of Earth architecture and advanced Alliance engineering that symbolized the new partnership. Ambassador Thora joined her, her luminescent skin glowing softly in the dim light. The integration of Earth's military doctrine and technology into the Alliance defense framework is proceeding well, she reported. Though many of our strategists are still struggling to adapt to what they call human unconventional thinking, Elena smiled. They'll adjust. Adaptation is the key to survival, something both humanity and the Alliance understand now. And the Krell? Thora asked. Respecting the terms of the treaty, Elena replied. Our intelligence suggests internal reforms are underway within their empire, a shift from military expansion to technological development and internal stability. They're evolving because they fear another demonstration of the QDS? Elena shook her head. Because they respect our capacity to change the rules when necessary. Fear is temporary, respect endures. As they looked out at the stars, Admiral Reyes reflected on how quickly everything had changed. In just 5 hours of combat, humanity had rewritten the power dynamics of an entire galaxy. Now came the harder part, using that power responsibly, building a peace that would last beyond the memory of the war. What do you think the future holds for humanity in the Alliance? Thora asked, her skin pulsing with genuine curiosity. Elena considered the question carefully. We'll continue to surprise you, Ambassador. That's what humans do best. We'll bring perspectives you haven't considered, solutions to problems you didn't know existed, and probably create a few new problems along the way, she smiled. But most importantly, we'll be partners. Different, yes, but united in the belief that together we're stronger than apart. As ships from dozens of worlds moved through the space lanes visible from the observation deck, Elena thought about the messages being transmitted back to Earth from every human vessel and outpost in Alliance space. They all carried variations of the same sentiment. Humanity had found its place among the stars not through destructive power, but through the uniquely human ability to think differently, to change the game when the existing rules didn't favor them. 5 hours had changed the course of galactic history. But it wasn't the technology that had made the difference. It was the human spirit behind it, the creativity and determination that had always defined their species. In the vastness of space, humanity had finally found a challenge worthy of its potential, and the galaxy would never be the same.